basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Auto Club Speedway is the premier motorsports facility in Southern California. Built on the site of the former Kaiser Steel Mill near Fontana in 1996-97 at a cost of $100 million. The track has 84,000 permanent seats and is home to a NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series race each spring. Constructed by Penske Corp as a clone of Michigan Speedway, the track was originally known as California Speedway. It was later purchased by ISC, which subsequently sold its naming rights to the Automobile Club of Southern California in 2008. In addition to a high-banked oval, Auto Club Speedway features several road course configurations, which have been used for sports car and motorcycle races, as well as an infield track used for testing purposes. Given its proximity to Hollywood, the track has also appeared in scores of movies, television shows, and commercials. But tonight, it's race number 6 of the Vigilante Racing League, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Auto Club Speedway under the lights here tonight for race number 6 of the Vigilante Racing League. Race details tonight, 85 laps the race distance, track temperature 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too much to be concerned with track temperature wise. Should be nice and cool for these cars to get around this racetrack and handle properly. 65% fuel load, max tire change, 3 sets available over the wall. No fast repairs to speak of, and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish if it comes down to it. Practice just about wrapped up here from the Speedway. Let's take a look at the times. Fastest so far is the 33 of Alan Vaught. Second quick, John Gallagher, Derek Welch. Third, Jack Dixon and Dion Jones rounding out the top 5 times. 39.399 the fast time for the 33. That's really getting it done here. 2-mile racetrack. About a minute and a half left in the session before we jump right into qualifying. Taking another look here at the upcoming schedule. Of course, we are at Auto Club tonight to start the year off. Next week will be, well, a mirror image of this place, but in the Irish Hills of Michigan, another 2-mile oval. Also going to be in the Gen 6 Cup car. Then on the 15th of January, we run to Daytona, back in the trucks. 22nd, Indianapolis, back in Gen 6. Then we switch to trucks again for Talladega. Back to Watkins Glen on the 5th of February. And then rounding out this short season on the 12th of February, back here at Auto Club. Get us ready for season 11. Follow pretty much right after that. "20 seconds left in the session. Clock is at 0. Black and red flags come out. Official end to practice. Qualifying tonight will be a 2-lap session, 10 minutes at max, whatever comes first. Set the field tonight. Looks like Dylan Bryant will be the first driver to roll out onto the Speedway. Riding on board here with Dylan Bryant, I want to showcase this camera. This is the driver's eye camera. Basically, it's a small, tiny camera, much like a GoPro. It's built into the helmet of the driver. So this is about as close as you're going to get to seeing what the driver sees behind the wheel of that race car. Special thanks to Whiplash Sim Cams for providing these custom camera packs tonight. One thing that's kind of fun about the VRL is they do kind of make it fun for the drivers here. They've got some of these races that have small payouts. We're not talking about anybody getting rich here, but so tonight this is one of those payout races. The pole's going to get about $20, and then there's some spins, so some chance at it. So spin 1, spin 2, spin 3, and 4 starts at 85, then 50, then 75, then 50, then 25. I think there's a custom die cast up for grabs as well. First lap for Bryant, pretty quick, 39.862. I think that's faster than what we saw in practice out of anybody. Bryant sits on the pole on his second lap right now. We're going to stick with Dylan here. Likely to be a threat for a pole position. Rincon runs P2, 39.937. Bryant pulls it hard down to the apron of the racetrack, trying to shorten the lap up just a bit. Crosses the stripe. Drops to third as Jeremiah Burke goes P1, but does Bryant take it back? He does. A big-time lap, 39.748 for the driver of the 51. The 5 of Anthony Williams, second quick on his first lap. We'll see if he can pick up. He was awfully close on that first time around. Remember, Alan Vaught, fastest in the practice session. We'll see if he can do the same here in this. Put the 33 on point, but right now Anthony Williams out of turn 4 into the tri-oval. And Williams does improve, but not quite enough. Second quick for the 5, 39.749. Ricky Wittenberg, 40.062, lap number 1, working the back straightaway. Dylan Bryant still top of the board. 39.903 for Ricky Wittenberg puts him into the top 10 for the time being. Albert Anderson, 10th quick on his first lap. Does he pick up? 7th quick, 39.851 for the driver, the number 99. Klein, not a great first lap, likely just a throwaway. We've seen just about everybody pick up on lap 2. We'll see if that's the same for the driver, number 18. Klein crosses the stripe, does not pick up, 40.173. Missed it just a bit here in qualifying. Hopefully he can figure it out race time. Driver we really wanted to watch here, fastest in the practice session, it's the mobile Chevrolet of Alan Vaught. See if he's got anything for that time of Dylan Bryant. 39.748 the pole speed for the time being. See if Allen can knock him off. Allen crosses the stripe. Lap 1 in the books. 29th quick. 40.972. Anthony Williams was the closest, missed it by just 1/1000th of a second. Sits outside pole for the time being, but Alan Vaught might have something to say about it. Allen off turn 4. And does he do it? No. Second row, third quick for Alan Vaught, 39.750. Not a bad lap. You see the top 3? Look at the left scoring tower there. 748, 749, 750. Top 3 drivers separated by just a couple thousandths of a second. Unbelievable. Had Kyle Vaught on the track. 30th quick first lap. Fuel window tonight at 65%, as we mentioned. Expect 26 to 30 laps. That's going to be our ballpark that expect drivers to need to pit. As Kyle crosses the stripe, 40.006. Not a great qualifying effort for the 16. 25th for the time being. Tim Pope in the 7. '30th on lap 1. It's almost a moot point to talk about Tim Pope in qualifying because he's usually deep in the field to start these races, but he's almost always in that top 3 when it comes down to the finish. Looked like a good lap. Let's see where he ends up. 6 quick. 39.790 for the 7 of Tim Pope. And with a starting position that good, that solidly into the top 10, Tim Pope's going to certainly be a factor before we know it tonight. Just about everybody's taken the time to this point. Dustin Eaton, Trevor Robertson, and Russ Kilgore, the only 3 drivers that get to visit the racetrack at this point. There's still time here, just over a couple of minutes, but we're going to step aside here, get a short break out of the way. We'll be back with our starting grid after this. Stay with us.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Auto Club Speedway Race 6, Season 10. Let's take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position with a lap time of 39.748 seconds, it's the 51 of Dylan Bryant. Outside, front row from Lowline Motorsports officially says he ran the exact same time. You see it there, zeros across the board, so we're going to go out to the 10,000th place. Let's just call it 1/1000th and move on. Anthony Williams starts outside pole. Row number 2, Alan Vaught in the 33. He missed the pole by 2/1000ths of a second. To his outside will be the 48 of Jack Dixon. Starting in the third row, it's Mike Adamson and Timothy Pope. Row 5, row 5? No, row 4. I can count. Joe Canellis in the 11. He'll start 7th. 8th is Dustin Wade. 9th starter is Chandler Paul in the number 72. John McAdam in the 47 starts 10th. 11th starter is Jeremiah Burke. Albert Anderson will roll off from the 12th position. 13th starter is John Gallagher in the 123. Larry Dickerson will start 14th. Andrew Cawthon in the 10 starts 15th. Ricky Wittenberg, the 55 machine, will start 16th. Kelly Cool in the 01 starts 17th. 18th starter is Derek Welch. 19th is Jonathan Osborne. Greg Dobson will start 20th. 21st belongs to George Rincon. To his outside, the 22nd starter is Josh Bittner. Deion Jones will start 23rd. Andrew Player 24th. Greg Klein starts 25th. 26th starter is Kyle Vaught. 27th goes to Dave Mayberry. Scott Roney will be 28th. 29th starter is Kevin Hunt. 30th belongs to Chris Klein. 31st in the 3, it's Austin Paul. Trevor Robertson will start 32nd. 33rd belongs to Dustin Eaton, and shotgun on the field in the number 2. In the 34th position is Russ Kilgore. It's your starting grid here from Auto Club Speedway. Pace car in the field, leaving pit lane for just one pace lap before we're under green here the next time by. Get race details tonight. 85 laps the race distance. Track temperature at 71 degrees Fahrenheit. 65% fuel load gives them 26 to 30 laps on a full tank. 3 sets of tires over the wall. No fast repairs, no resets. One attempt at the green-white checkered finish. Take a look at the weather here. Of course, the track temperature 71. So is the air temp. Not a whole lot of breeze, 5 mile per hour. Humidity at 44% under clear skies, and the bright Musco lighting system here at Auto Club. Pace car about to make the left into pit lane. There it goes, waiting for Barney to wave the green. Field entering the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're underway from Auto Club Speedway. Field working the back straightaway. Chandler Paul starting from pit lane way back the end of the back straightaway, exiting turn 2 right now as the field working 3 and 4. Dylan Bryant maintaining the top spot over Alan Vaught in the second position. Back to start finish. First lap in the books. One driver losing connection quite significantly there within the top 10. Got to keep a close eye on that. Bryant leads lap number 1. Vaught, Adamson, Canellis, and Williams your top 5. Allie Nope in the chat says, you sound very familiar, but I haven't seen your channel before. Yeah, I think you have. It's just a little different these days. It used to be HBR TV. Now we've rebranded. It's the same channel with a different name. So hopefully that helps, but glad you're here nonetheless. Lap 2 in the books. Dylan Bryant maintains his position at the front of the field. Top 3 single file. Really just about everybody in the top 10 plus is getting single file. Well, they were. Alan Vaught had to go and ruin that. Jumps to the inside, looking for the race lead in turns 1 and 2. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack for now. He's got the position on Dylan Bryant. We'll see if he can hang on to it. He does. He gets clear, and actually Bryant may lose 2 spots here as Adamson gets to his inside down the back straightaway. 3-wide battle now for the second spot. Looking at Mike Adamson in the 11. Joe Canellis. Canellis actually tucks back in behind the 88. Thinks better of it. Maybe some contact there with Dylan Bryant as he slips up the racetrack, almost getting into the left rear of the 51. There might have been just a touch of contact there. Vaught maintaining the race lead now. 11 looking for the second spot from Adamson. Adamson running the number 88 Budweiser machine, reminiscent of Dale Jr. On board with Adamson. Mike out of Sanford, Florida. Canellis looking to the inside yet again for the second spot. Adamson up the racetrack. Canellis slides up, makes some contact with the left door of Adamson. Saves the car, but loses some momentum, significant momentum. Slips back to the 5th spot. It's going to lose more here as Pope looking to the outside. Canellis tried to make it stick. Didn't want to lift. Gets into the door of Adamson, and it really costs him here. He was battling for second. Now he's fallen all the way back to P7 where he started. Meanwhile, Dylan Bryant also sliding back here as he's into the 6th spot. Jeremiah Burke looking to the inside. He's going to take the second spot from Adamson without a problem. Adamson's going to drop down in front of the 81 to close the door on Osborne. Crossover here. Adamson looking to take that second position back from Burke. Changes lanes, goes to the bottom. Pope's going to give Burke a big push to the outside. Kyle Vaught not out of the race as of yet, but is back in the 3 laps down in the 33rd position. No indication of any issues out on the track for Kyle Vaught, so unsure what's caused his issue. Tim Pope making his way back towards the front. We talked about Tim, how typically he starts more towards the rear of the field and quietly works his way up through the pack and is always a contender when these things get down near the end. This time tonight, he qualified well. Deep into the top 10 without an issue. Now he's working himself into the 3rd spot, running behind the 53 of Burke. Zach Mitchell says, I love the new look. Can't wait to watch some more races. Well, thanks, Zach. Vaught changing lanes here, trying to break the draft from the 53. Drops it down in front of Osborne. Osborne will benefit from that for just a moment, but they go back up the racetrack. Now Pope's going to have the draft. Pope goes way high into turns 1 and 2. He's going to have a whale of a run out of the corner. I'd like to say that the top 5 are starting to settle down a little bit, but it certainly does not seem that way. This track has been producing great racing every time we come here. It doesn't matter if it's trucks or Cup cars, Xfinity cars, it seems to make no difference. Tons of grip. Or so, more draft. Speaking of draft, Pope looking for the second spot, sniffing the draft off the 33 of Vaught. Allen swaps lanes again, drops it down in front of Jeremiah Burke. He's trying to keep second and third side by side. He knows if either one of them can get lined out single file, they're more of a threat for that top spot. He can kind of provide some draft assistance to Burke and then give it back to Pope. Kind of keep those guys side by side. Tom Boomer on a CRV. I don't know why the tower did that. I mean, it's taking all that information from iRacing. So if there was a little hiccup or a glitch in what data that was being sent to my overlay software, it will display a little funny. It happens sometimes. Something must have happened to him regardless, though. He's 3 laps down. So Pope disposes of Jeremiah Burke. Takes sole possession of the second spot while Dylan Bryant's working his way back towards the front. Burke's starting to drop back now, falling into the clutches of Mike Adamson. Pope's looking for the race lead. Pope, a car length and a half back from the 33, wasn't able to get it done, but battle here with Osborne and Burke. Burke trying to close the door off, slow the advantage of the 81. Osborne now battling with Dylan Bryant. Bryant, the 51 machine up top side, Mike Adamson trailing. And we got trouble on the speedway somewhere. Kelly Cool in trouble, facing the wrong way, getting looped back around. Not sure what caused his problem. We'll try and get a look at it here in a moment. The 92 up the racetrack. Either didn't see the 01 there or whatever the case may be. They come together in the middle of the corner. Sends Kelly Cool up the track. The 55 gets a piece of this as well. That's Ricky Wittenberg. Certainly not a major incident, but it's going to be a rough night here for the 01. 14 laps just about wrapped up here from Auto Club Speedway. First time behind the iRacing pace car, at least since we've dropped the green flag. First yellow of the night. Again, fuel window 26 to 30 laps. We're about halfway there, so I think these guys may opt to come down and pit. We're going to find out here in just a moment. Yeah, here they come. Interesting note, Alan Vaught running pit lane in first gear. Allen misses the box, has to back it up just a hair. That's going to cost him some time and valuable track position. We're going to get an opportunity now to see how the 33 operates in dirty air. Going to put 4 on, though. Some drivers were opting for just fuel only. So once again, as we continue to watch this league each and every week, varying strategies up and down pit lane. And we do have one driver that opted to stay out. That was Greg Dobson. Dobson is 0.85. Greg putting all his chips on the possibility of another caution coming out before he runs out of fuel. So lights on the iRacing pace car have been extinguished, which means we are on the 1 to go. Next time by, we'll be back at green flag racing. Dobson and Osborne will lead us back to green. Again, Dobson stayed out on the racetrack, but looking at the top 5 right now, of course, Dobson didn't pit at all, but Osborne, Cawthon, Kanellis, and Josh Bittner, your current top 5, they're out there on the original set of tires we started this race on. Fuel only for some drivers. The first driver out there with fresh rubber, it's the 53 of Jeremiah Burke. He's that black, gold, and blue machine in the high side, in behind Kanellis in the 11. Keep a close eye on Burke. He's going to be fast right out of the gate, and I wouldn't even be the least bit surprised to see if he could take over the top spot here after just one lap. Then Burke, you got Pope and Alan Vaught. Those guys also taking tires. Majority of the field that did pit this time, they opted for fresh tires. Still got 2 sets over the wall, so that should be plenty for the rest of the race. Some of these guys are gambling a bit for some track position, but you're going to find out in a hurry how much those tires are worth when we go back green. Stream chat is busy tonight. Thanks for checking in, guys. Pace car hits pit lane. Barney with the flag in hand.
Green, green, green.
Green flag in the air. Osborne with the race lead. Dobson to the outside. Actually kind of surprised that we didn't see them free fall more than we did, but back to start finish. It looks like Osborne's going to lead this lap as they come back to the line. Gaggle of cars in behind them, 3-4 wide already here early on at Auto Club. 3 wide into turn 1. Trouble on turn number 4. We got a big wreck.
Hey man,
Car's still spinning through the trioval grass. This all started on a turn 4. I didn't catch which car it was that set it off, but we've got a big problem here off turn number 4. Might have been Tim Pope that went up into the fence. Pope certainly with some damage on his number 7 Carolina Crusher machine. Yeah, right front. Heavy damage on the right front. That thing's towed in. Definitely some suspension damage on his Chevrolet. Well, let's get a look, see what happened. Oh, they were 5 wide. That'll do it. Try to get a better look at this here. We'll stop it real quick here. If you look up top, the purple machine of Greg Dobson, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as far as abreast here off turn 4. I know this track's wide, but the more you line up that way, side by side, the tighter and narrower things get, and you see the end result. Pope tried to squeeze it between Kanellis and Chris Klein. Just not enough room. Contact was made. It sends the 7 up into traffic. Adamson gets collected. John Gallagher in it as well. He gets it twice. So through that, of course, we've got more pit stops occurring here. 20 laps in already. Now, a lot of these drivers were involved in that incident. Try to get you a list here as to who ended up being collected. Obviously, Tim Pope was one of them. It's Chris Klein, Dustin Eaton. These guys are all involved in some way, shape, or form. It does not mean that they have terminal damage, but Dustin Eaton, Russ Kilgore, Andrew Player, of course, Tim Pope, John Gallagher, Josh Bittner, and Mike Adamson as well. Kind of goes to what we were talking about at the draft at this place. It's not Daytona. It's not Talladega. But they're moving. I mean, they're really getting after it here. These big cup cars punch a hole in the air. That big rear spoiler keeps everybody packed up, much like the super speedways. So when there's a small issue with one driver, it becomes a big issue for everybody else. Well, let's give it another shot here. Be lap 22 when we take the green flag yet again. This one back underway after our second caution of the night. Pace car is in.
Green, green, green.
Osborne right there with Alan Vaught challenging for the race lead. Osborne unable to hold it out of turn number 2 on the older tires. Took fuel only on the first caution. Vaught's out there with fresh rubber, full tank of gas. Field back in turn 3, 47. John McAdam now becoming a player in this top 3 alongside Jeremiah Burke as the sparks fly. Osborne free-falling through the field here, trying to hang on to that race car. You can see the delta between the speed of the cars with fresh tires and the drivers that didn't take them. Pretty big discrepancy here, and that's a challenge not only for the driver who's a little bit slower, but everybody else that's faster trying to get by without incident. It can become a little scary as they're 3 wide yet again into turns 3 and 4. Osborne still falling back. He was challenging for the lead on the restart. Now he's 13th. Change for position in the top 3. Dustin Wade now challenging in the number 68 machine in the 3rd spot. McAdam back to 4th. Austin Paul there in the 3, challenging as well, but he's got his hands full with Chris Klein and George Rincon. Oh, across the nose of Klein. The 3 almost way out of shape, almost took a ride through the infield, but dumps it down into the apron, keeps his foot in it, continues on, and picks up a spot. Battle for the lead will be on momentarily. In fact, it starts right now. Alan Vaught with the lead. Jeremiah Burke was right there, a foot off the back bumper of the 33 into turn 3. Vaught gets the better exit. Again, trying to break the draft. A little bit of a snake here, top to bottom, bottom to top. Vaught goes to the bottom, goes back up top. Set up the entry to turn 1. Oh, trouble off turn 2. Anthony Williams involved.
How you doing in there, kid?
Williams in the 5, trying to get squared up, straightened out here, involved in an incident with the 2 of Russ Kilgore. This was exiting turn number 2. Tire smoke flies. Let's take a look. Oh, Kilgore was already loose, and then some serious netcode with him and Osborne. Slides down the racetrack. Canellis gets a small piece, but looks like he'll drive away, but the most unlucky is the 5 of Anthony Williams as they come together as the 2 of Kilgore comes down off the racetrack. I'd like to try and get a different angle on that. Let's give it a shot here. Oh, okay, so Osborne actually did get the wall first, which broke his momentum. Again, there was still some pretty significant netcode there, but they would have come together nonetheless. Almost looked like Keselowski and the S's at the Glen this year. I think that was Keselowski, or maybe it was Byron. Or it was both. So more pit stops underway. Again, a short fuel window here this week. Going to see drivers come down and top off every opportunity, really, that they get within reason. But this would also put them back on a strategy where it's kind of like the caution never came out. This being lap 28, it kind of parks them right in the middle of that fuel window. They're going to top off now. Let's see if Vaught, he's not going to take tires. He's going fuel only this time because it hasn't been all that long. But it kind of resets the strategies for everybody. Now is their opportunity. If they want to take tires, they can take tires. You want to go fuel only, go fuel only. Either way, the fuel window is about 26 to 30 laps. So given where we're at now in the race, it kind of sets us back to new. But I also don't think we're done wrecking. This place is tough. It's great that it's so wide because it really promotes that side-by-side action, the 3, 4, and sometimes 5 wide. The unintended consequence there, of course, when they're 4 and 5 wide, like we talked about, track gets a little bit narrower. There's a whole lot less room if there is a problem, and if one guy has a problem, it becomes everybody else's problem. Lori Vaughn says, we're shocked. We've never had this problem at Auto Club in the trucks. I don't know what problem she's talking about. It's been a really good race so far. There's a little bit of netcode there, but I don't think it made a difference in that instance. I think Osborne got in the wall there. It would have slowed his momentum enough that their contact would have been made as it is. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think we're okay. It's been a good race. Car's perfect, Harry. Don't change a thing.
Green, green.
Green back in the air. Mayberry and Klein. Greg Klein, that is. Mayberry gets away. Mayberry should be the number 29, but he's showing the number 22 this week, so have to work on that. Door-to-door action for the second spot, though. Cawthon and Klein banging doors into turn number 1. Cawthon jumps up into the second spot. And Kelly Cool in trouble earlier, but now back into the top 5, looking for more. Getting greedy, looking to the bottom of the 10, but not enough. Tucks in behind, sticks to the 4th position for now alongside Greg Klein. Oh, door banging again here in the tri-oval. Contact is made, everybody saves it. Unbelievable. John McAdam, a whale of a save to keep it out of the grass and out of everybody else's way. Derek Welch chiming in, says, my luck has been horrible. Not sure what happened with Derek, but it appears that he may be out of this one as well. Meanwhile, Mayberry's still out front, but here comes Greg Klein to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to push his way forward. Oh, we got trouble now. Jeremiah Burke in the wall hard and others as well. We got big time trouble here. Looks like turn number 1.
They'll take a Captain Morgan and Diet Coke.
The intensity level is picking up. That is for sure. Burke doesn't seem real happy about it. We're going to go back and watch the replay and find out why. So it looks like this may have started here. The 01 and the 085. Kelly Cool and Greg Dobson. Cool had a big-time run, was going to dart to the inside is what it looked. There wasn't enough space in between the 085 and the 53 of Burke. I think Kelly really just needed to check up there. Alan Vaught gets involved in this as well. So does the 6, the 434. Osborne scoots by on the bottom. Bittner's going to come in and get a big chunk. Rincon a little bit. Junkyard of cars in turns 1 and 2. Watch it in real time here. Some monster hits. Once again, just be glad it's a sim. And just to follow up on Lori's concern about the cautions, it's a new year, Lori. We're getting them all out of the way now. I think next week will be perfect. Positive thinking. $34 laps in the books, or just going up on the board, that is. 33 complete. We ride behind the iRacing pace car yet again. 4th caution of the night. It has been a little tricky, but again, I'm not terribly surprised. I mean, the trucks are the trucks. I wouldn't say that they're easy to drive, but if you compare them to the Gen 6, they're easier. Gen 6 got a whole lot more power. And again, as wide as this place is, it's just so inviting. There's grip everywhere. You know, it's hard to take the racer mentality out of your head when you're behind the wheel. You just can't do it. All of a sudden, a hole opens up in front of you. You got to run. You got to go. Except at this place, you've got 5-6 lanes that you can work with. It's like telling your Labrador not to chase the ball when you throw it. Or your Chihuahua not to bark. So there it goes. Pace car lights are out. On the one to go yet again. Lap 36 will be back under green. So Tim Pope is making his way back out. Pope shown in the 32nd position. 12 laps down, but again, not giving up. Every point matters. It doesn't matter how you get them. If you're 12 laps down and you still finish ahead of some guys, you're going to gain some ground on somebody. Those points are valuable, and they do come into play come the end of the season. I guess my only question, Lori, is the truck races that run so smooth at Auto Club, is there money on the line for those, or is that just tonight? Because money makes people stupid sometimes. Myself included. I raised my hand like you could see me, but obviously you cannot. So we're going to try it again here, and I think we're going to go single file restarts this time, try to calm everybody down, but I don't know, I'll give it till the end of the backstretch before that goes away. And as well it should. Pace car is in. Osborne going to restart it for us. Wade is second. Paul and Paul, third and fourth.
Green flag, green flag, green flag.
Specifically Austin and Chandler. Fifth is Joe Canellis. Loose off two, gathers it up. Wade takes a peek to the inside on Osborne into turn 3, looking for the race lead. They're side by side. Wade still there. Bit of a run for Osborne, gets clear again. Wade tucks back in behind, single file the top 5, 6, 7. Chandler Paul in the 72, working his way up alongside the 3. Loses a little bit of momentum without the assist from the draft as the 3 of Austin Paul hangs onto the 3rd spot. Justin Wade up the racetrack, trying to find a different way around Osborne. Osborne closes the door, exit at turn 4. Big move by the 3, jumps to the inside of Wade, down into turn 1. This is for the 2nd spot. Paul can't carry the momentum through the corner. Canellis is closing quickly. Chandler Paul losing some ground here at the bottom of the racetrack. Everybody else freight training him on the high side. Paul now down to the 8th spot. You know, might lose more as Albert Anderson to the outside. Then McAdam. Chandler dropping through the top 10. One more to go, and he's out of the top 10. Here comes the 55 of Ricky Wittenberg. Ricky's going to take the 10th spot. Paul's going to tuck in behind, get back in line, hopefully pick up some draft. But here comes the 4 of Deion Jones. Battle for the lead yet again. Osborne still out in front. Wade pressing. Kanellis is coming there in the third spot as well. So Wade figures, you know what, it's time to go. I can't worry about this 11. I got to get up front. Wade pressing again, now side by side. This might be the closest he's been in the last handful of laps. He's alongside Osborne down the back straightaway. Really should have gone up a little bit closer, but he might slide up the racetrack here, but a crossover from Osborne, but not enough room. Kanellis gets into the door. Everybody drives away. Kanellis almost loses it, but Wade's going to keep the top spot. That broke the momentum of Osborne just enough that Wade is able to get up and clear. 42 laps in the books. 1 lap away from halfway. Albert Anderson working his way up, and we got Calamity off turn 2. No one reckoned yet, but man, they're trying. Albert Anderson in the unfamiliar, unpainted race car this week, the number 99, all in black. Osborne takes back the race lead just like that, and Wade trying to rebound and retake the lead. Meanwhile, Austin Paul running there in the third spot in that white and red number 3. Wade a little loose off turn number 2, keeps his foot in the throttle. Tim Pope there in the mix as well, but again, not on the lead lap. Lap 44 on the board. We're going to step aside here, get a quick break. Track Limits Network side by side. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Auto Club, and there's trouble. Mayberry hard into the wall, and entry to turn number 3. We stay green. Contact and overcorrect. Mayberry pounds the outside wall. He made him having to go to pit lane here.
Caution's out.
Oh, caution is out. There it is. Mayberry unable to get down into pit lane. Too slow on the racetrack with traffic coming.
Yes, I do, sir.
And you'll see Mayberry's actually the 22 on the door. It should be the 29, but at least so you know who you're looking at here. So this is why the caution actually came out. He just got too slow up on the racetrack with traffic coming. So I'm going to have to rewind this here. I hate doing it this way, but unfortunately I got no way to go to the actual incident until the caution comes out. So let's see if we can get a look at exactly what happened here. So watch the 22 in the middle. 92 comes up, makes contact with Mayberry, sends him into the 3 of Paul, which bounces him off back into the 92, and there you have it. Mayberry, a human ping pong ball there in the middle, but hits the wall pretty significantly. And of course, damages the race car to the point where he's got to get that thing fixed. So pit stop's underway. Osborne is going to lead just about everybody down pit lane. So 4 tires and fuel for Osborne. He drops the jack and heads back on out. So Wade comes out ahead of Osborne, but here's the caveat. Dustin Wade, 8.05 second pit stop, which means no tires. That was fuel only for the 68. Osborne came down 15.35. Not a great stop, but 4 tires. He's able to get back out there ahead of Greg Klein, who may have taken just right. It's a 10.7 second pit stop for Greg Klein. Austin Paul, 4 tires at 14.4. Dustin Eaton, 4 tires at 14.6. Looks like 4 tires for everybody else. Very interesting that Dustin Wade went with fuel only there. He's likely to be in some trouble. We saw that earlier on in the last restart with drivers that had older tires, free falling to the rear. Lights on the pace car are out. We're back double file, so double file restart next time by. Lap 53 will go up on the board. So we give it another shot here. 5th caution of the afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it is where you're watching. Pace car makes the hard left into pit lane. Barney with the green in hand. He's going to wave it yet again. Get this thing back underway.
Green flag.
Osborne quickly takes the lead away from Dustin Wade. New tires making a difference. A little bit of contact out of turn 2. Everybody continues on. Austin Paul in the wall off turn number 4. We got trouble yet again. Big time trouble. This is the big one, folks. Coming to the start-finish line. I think half the field's going to get wadded up in this one. I think it was the 3 of Austin Paul getting into the wall on exit of turn 4 initially is what triggered this one. Yeah, so Paul gets in the fence there. We'll back it up a little bit here again just to give you guys a better look at that. So watch the 3 car in behind Dustin Wade. It's the 3, red and white. Gets right tucked up behind the 68 of Dustin Wade, and that's what takes the downforce off the nose of the race car, because you've got the 1 car right in front of you. All the air is going over the top now, so they're going to lose the nose of the car. It's going to get tight, push up the track. Then he hits the wall, bounces off, now comes down in front of traffic, and you see the 92 getting clipped hard. Big time avoidance by the 023 of Scott Roney. We got at least 12 cars in this. I will say I want to watch this from Scott Roney's perspective, so just hang tight here. We're going to watch this again. Want to drive a race car? Watch this. How did he miss that? Tough day for a lot of these guys. So we're on lap 55. It'll be 30 to go as we cross the stripe. Should get the 1 to go signal. I'm going to take a look at the schedule here again. Coming up next week, go from Auto Club, where we're at tonight, to Michigan, which is very similar to this racetrack. We talked about it in the open, how Auto Club was kind of built as a clone to Michigan Speedway. Track surface is considerably different, though. Obviously, we're here in Southern California here at Auto Club. A lot more sun than what they get up in the Irish Hills of Michigan, up in Brooklyn, Michigan. Should expect it to be a pretty damn good race, though, so make sure you guys tune in for it. And I know we've had a brash of cautions here tonight, but it actually has been a good race. I mean, I'm sure Lori's pulling her hair out trying to admin this thing, but it actually hasn't been bad. JB in the chat goes, if your driver dies, can you make the next race? Yeah, you just hit the reset and you're good to go. And Turzak Racing in the chat. I'm assuming that's Kyle behind that. What's going on, Kyle? Thanks for saying hey. So coming to green, lap 57 will go up on the board. Osborne and Eaton on the front row. Haven't talked much about the 14 today, but I think we're about to. Top 4 drivers all with tires. Osborne maintains the spot, closes the door on the 14 of Eaton. One slow car up the racetrack, didn't catch who it was. Josh Bittner, maybe? No, it's Canellis. Joe Canellis, very slow on the racetrack. Might have got the wall out of turn 4, rode the wall all the way down into turn 1 as to not get collected. Just going to do the rewind thing because, again, it doesn't show that he crashed, but I'm assuming that's what happened. I didn't catch it. So let's watch the 11 here. Full speed, gets into Wade. Wade puts him in the fence. Justin Wade. Pretty significant door. Oh, man, the 11 almost got nailed there. Canellis now all the way down in the grass here trying to get back to pit lane. He must have some damage to be worried about here to be doing this. He could probably run the apron and get back, but if you're at too slow of a speed, it's going to trigger the system to throw a caution. So he doesn't want to do that. Job well done by Canellis. Meanwhile, a battle out front here. Osborne and Roney. Here comes Roney like a ball of fire. Fireball on the hood, fire behind him, looking for the race lead here, coming to the stripe. He's going to lead the lap. Will he get clear into turn 1? Here comes Dustin Wade with a monster run. Roney can't get clear because he doesn't have the draft. In the corner doesn't matter quite as much. We'll see if he can maintain this spot, though. Osborne way up the racetrack. He's going to have a big run unless Roney can close the door. Go up the racetrack. He's clear now, but he stays to the inside. Dustin Wade now to the back bumper of the 023s. They work the back straightaway. Big-time push from Dustin Wade into turn number 3. You saw the back of the race car step out for Roney. Now Wade jumping to the inside. He wants a piece of the race lead. Here comes Dustin Eaton. The 14 going to the inside, picking up 3 spots in one fall swoop, and maybe the race lead into 1. Eaton to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll slide up the racetrack here, lock the door closed, and contact behind him. McAdam in the fence, and the caution's out. Wade's going to get a monster piece of the inside wall. Pieces of his race car flying everywhere. Kelly cool, smoking a cigarette, not paying attention. Almost gets into the 47. And with 25 to go, we're under our 7th caution of the night, and it was a pretty significant one up front this time. You see, it's not really discriminating against anybody here. It can happen in the back, and it can happen in the front, and we're seeing just that. Let's take a peek at it. We saw it live, but let's get a better view. Oh, Osborne got loose off of 2. Door slams Wade. Wade gets into McAdam, sends him up the track, and the rest is history. Oh, monster hit for Wade in the right hand of your screen there. Let's see if we can get a better angle on that one. Watch the 68 here. Obviously, he's the meat in the sandwich here. McAdam gets turned up, and it sends Wade down the racetrack. The 10 does a great job to not get into Wade, but it probably would have saved him a bit. But monster hit. That is perfectly perpendicular to that inside safer barrier. Again, glad it's a sim. If that was the real-life impact, even with that safer barrier, I don't know how that would have ended up. Would have been a bad day for somebody for sure. Jason Gaines thinks my cigarette comment was funny. I don't know where that came from. It literally just kind of vomited out of my face. It's the first thing that came to mind, so I said it. What are you going to do? 23 to go. Andrew Cawthon stays out. Remember, we talked about just a moment ago on the backstretch how close he came to getting into Dustin Wade there. Good job, but I'm sure he stood on them brakes awful hard. Hopefully he did not flat spot the tires on that race car, because that's not going to handle well if that's the case. See if we can get an in-car view how it looked for him. Go full speed here. That was nicely done. I don't think he locked him up. Larry Dickerson says, I just don't get it. Sometimes, I don't get it sometimes. I'm ready for this season to already be over. Let's see how it worked out for Dickerson here. Obviously, it wasn't great. Let's see if I can find him here. Maybe he wasn't in that one. He was in a different wreck. It's been a rough night for a lot of guys tonight. It's the way it is sometimes. It's relatively uncommon here with VRL, though I gotta admit, these guys are really clean racers most of the time. Once in a blue moon, something oddball happens, but again, to Lori's point, they typically run the trucks and not a whole lot else. This is kind of like the filler season between the end of the standard NASCAR season and the beginning of the 2025 NASCAR season. It's kind of how they follow things. But they also don't like to take a break. Might take a week off here and there, but they're behind the wheel quite a bit. So 22 to go. It'll be 21 to go when we restart this thing. Pace car lights are out, and you see through attrition how many cars we don't have out on the racetrack. Granted, there's a bunch still trying to get caught up. I'd be curious if they throw the yellow here to let this go another lap to get everybody where they need to be. Yeah, even the lead lap car is running 13th. They're almost a whole lap behind the leaders right now. They got caught up. Just about.
Green.
Green back in the air. Cawthon and Roney going to lead them back to green. Three-way battle for the race lead here. Dustin Eaton on the bottom of the racetrack. The 10 of Cawthon was up in the middle. Roney was the outside, but now tucks back in behind the 10. Here comes the 72 with Chandler Paul. He's going to get in the back of the 14, but not centered. Almost sends Eaton up into the 023 of Roney. Back into turn 3 now. Eaton on the charge, goes to the bottom of the racetrack again, but Roney topside trying to build a run on the exit of turn 4. The 10 may close the door here. No, he doesn't. Leaves it open. Roney's there, side by side. Three-way battle for the race lead at the stripe. 20 laps to go from Auto Club. Scott Roney takes over the top spot. Dustin Eaton on the bottom of the racetrack trying to get it back himself. Now there, has it clear, goes up the racetrack. Closes off the run. Chandler Paul slips up the track, and Roney gets in the fence off turn 2. Breaks his momentum, move Chandler Paul up into the second spot. Roney will tuck back in. He'll pick up the draft off the 72s to not lose too many more positions. Cawthon back to 4th. Deion Jones in the 5th spot. Low side of the racetrack, Anthony Williams. He's running 16th, laps down, so don't pay too much attention to the 5. Not a factor in the top 5 battle. Meanwhile, Eaton out in front, 2.5 tenths the race lead over the 72 of Paul. Dustin Wade in the stream chat says, well, that was fun till it wasn't. I think there's a lot of guys saying that tonight. 13 cars on the lead lap. John Gallagher was the 14th car, but his hit pit lane yet again. Meanwhile, battle for second still on. Chandler Paul going the long way around, takes it back from Scott Roney, or maybe Roney was just trying to take it away. Successful defense for the 72. Dustin Eaton, Chandler Paul, both making the pit stop during this last caution. Eaton put on 4 tires, took fuel. Chandler Paul was down there for about 28 plus seconds, so that could have been tires, but it also could have just been repairs. It's hard to say. I don't get an indicator as to the services performed. We got a battle for the race lead again, though. Eaton way up the racetrack in the 14. Now the 72 of Chandler Paul working to the inside down the back straightaway. They're side by side. They'll drag race down into turn number 3. Eaton had the run out of turn number 2. Is it enough to get him through 3 and 4? Chandler Paul way down low on the racetrack. Shortest way around, certainly. But the faster way around is usually a lane up. Crossover from Eaton as he loses the lead, but he's going to try and take it back at the stripe. Coming to the line, Eaton's got the lead by a nose, and he crosses the line. He'll lead that lap. Not going to give it to Paul just yet. On board with Chandler Paul. Chandler out of Mount Washington, Kentucky with a run down the backstretch. Takes a peek. No, doesn't. Gets into the back of the 14 just to say, hey, bud, I'm here. You do this the easy way or the hard way. Paul's going to go to the bottom, trying to make it the hard way. Not enough to get it done. Eaton maintains the top spot. $15 laps to go, 30 miles to finish it out here in California. Eaton may have gotten the outside wall on the exit of turn 2. If he did, it was ever so slight. Did not seem to break a whole lot of momentum, but Paul's still right there. A car length and a half, maybe 2, back from the 14. Coming to 14 laps to go. Lucky numbers for Dustin Eaton out of turn number 4, coming to the stripe. 14 laps left. Lap traffic coming into the picture here just up ahead. Race leaders into some lap traffic still. Gallagher goes up the racetrack, gives first and second place all the room that they need. That's not a battle for position for the 123. He's just going to lose another lap here. Albert Anderson further back in that mix as well, just ahead of the 10 of Coffin. Anderson not a lead lap car, nor is the 7 of Timothy Pope. Coffin running 3rd. Race leaders, though, really starting to get away. Coffin on a little bit older tires. Trying to sniff the draft off the 7. And you see these guys back leading with Osborne. Osborne running 4th, but everybody else reasonably single file, at least when they can. Very similar to the drafting tracks to Daytona and Talladega. The more you go single file, the more speed you can produce with that draft. These guys need to do something here as the laps are winding down. They're running out of time if they want to reel the leaders back in. So Dylan Bryant doesn't want to wait. He goes to the inside trying to take the spot from Osborne. Meanwhile, back out front, Dustin Eaton still with the race lead and putting distance between himself and Chandler Paul. Lori's going to kill me for saying this, but I know we've had a bunch of cautions here tonight, but I think one more with about 8 to go wouldn't be bad. Just saying. Osborne still fighting with the 51 of Dylan Bryant. Bryant's just out there having a good time. He's not. He is a lead lap car, actually. He's in 4th. 3 wide behind him. Bryant doing everything he can here to try and complete this pass, but Osborne gets the wall, slows his momentum considerably, so Bryant went from having a tough time to having it given to him. Bryant now running 4th. Dion Jones in the AC Delco number 4 on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to try and get into the top 5 as well, as Osborne did lose a bunch of momentum, but Jones going to go up the racetrack and lock the door closed. A little bit of contact, it seems. Osborne wiggling the car back and forth. Things have changed out front again. I don't know if Eaton got into the fence or if Paul just regrouped, but he has reeled him back in. It was almost a full second, a lap or two ago. Now it's a 10th and a half. Down the backstretch. Again, that lap car may have come into play, the 123. Just because he's a lap down does not mean you cannot draft. Top 2 separated by just a few feet here with 9 coming to 8 laps to go. Eaton out front, then it's Paul. Further back, 3.2 seconds in the rears. It's the 10 of Andrew Cawthon, then Dylan Bryant and Dion Jones. Paul keeps driving it to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get alongside and get clear. He's really just going to have to force it down to the bottom and hope he's got enough room to get back up topside to block off the run from the 14. The problem is you got to expect the crossover. If the 14 sees that coming, he's just going to let it happen and switch lanes, go to the bottom, and then do the same thing. Eaton back on the power. Paul loose off turn 4. Real loose off turn 4. Gathers it up, but he's going to lose some ground. John Gallagher there, still a lap car. Gave plenty of room for the 72s to get back up in front of him. Just don't know if it's going to be enough here. Chandler Paul with handling issues on exit, at least for now. Eaton seems to have this one well in hand for the time being. 0.3 of a second the advantage back to Paul. Now Pope having a moment off turn number 2 himself. Oh, Paul back in the fence on entry. Mental break by the 72 of Chandler Paul. Doesn't turn in soon enough, and he almost gets the wall off turn number 4. If he's not careful, he's going to be our next caution. Meanwhile, Eaton's loving this. He can check up just a hair, save some tires, save a little bit of fuel if need be. George Rincon having a moment off turn number 2 as well. Rincon not on the lead lap. Back in 19th, 8 laps down. Paul regains it though. He's working his way back towards Dustin Eaton, but now he's having to contend with the lap car again. 3.5 laps to go. Dustin Eaton in command over Chandler Paul by about 3/4 of a second. Jeremiah Burke going to pull off and hit pit lane here. 3 laps to go. I don't know if it's a fuel issue or if he's just calling it a night. And Burke still showing signs of damage from that earlier crash. Chandler Paul not giving up. Still right there. Closest he's been in a handful of laps. Back there, takes a nose to the inside of Dustin Eaton here. Off turn number 4. Going to be 2 laps to go at the line. Eaton going to change lanes here to break the draft a bit. Paul chases him down to the apron of the racetrack. Three and a half car lengths the advantage for Dustin Eaton as he's out of turn number 2, a lap and a half left. Just needs to make it back to the white flag, and we don't need to worry about anybody crashing, but if the yellow were to come out now, we'd try and line them up one more time for a green-white checkered finish. Don't think we're going to need it. Dustin Eaton through turns 3 and now 4. Coming to start finish, looking for the white flag. Barney has it, and it waves. Final lap here from Auto Club Speedway. Two-tenths the advantage for Dustin Eaton over Chandler Paul. Eaton started way deep in the field, almost last, 33rd out of 34 cars. Through strategy and survival, leads this race into turn 3 and then 4 for the final time, looking for a race win. Talk about hard charger, Dustin Eaton out of turn number 4, looking for a checkered flag. He's done it. Back to start finish, no pressure out the back. Eaton wins it. Second place, Chandler Paul. Andrew Cawthon will finish 3rd. Fireworks in the air. Fireworks on the track. What a night. Top 3 parking on the front stretch here. We'll see if anybody lights them up for the burnouts. Eaton doing his burnouts in 3rd gear, it sounds like. Well, with that, we're going to step aside here, get a short break out of the way. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers in the booth after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back at Auto Club Speedway, Dustin Eaton, your race winner from nearly the dead last position. One shy to be specific. Let's get a word with him. Pull Dustin up at the broadcast booth and talk to our race winner. Dustin, it's Steve with HBR TV, formerly known as HBR TV, Track Limits Network. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, Steve?
Dustin, congratulations, man. What a drive here tonight. First off, making your way through the field. I think you started 33rd here tonight. Walk us through what it took to get through that field, and how did you keep all the fenders on that race car?
Man, that was survival at its finest right there. Going up through, you just got to pick which situations you want to battle people. You know, holding that high line is kind of key in a lot of situations, and especially when the tires start going and you know, people dive for that low line, it just kind of takes speed on the exit. So really just surviving the big stuff and then keeping consistent, man. That's how I got there.
Well, it worked out, obviously avoiding all that chaos throughout this race tonight. That is key for certain, especially with no fast repair to really be concerned about. But you seem to make it work for you. You drove away there at the end. I know Chandler was able to reel you in and then lose some ground, and reel you in and then lose some ground. What was the really key there? Were you saving a little bit for the end, or was he just having some other issues?
There was a couple times within the last, 5 or 6 laps where I knew he was going to catch a draft anyway, so there's no point in trying to run away. So when he started, in those moments he was getting them, I was just making sure to throw it in a little deeper. And like I was just talking to him down low, maintaining that high side, especially later in the tire runs, it's really key, because even, coming out of 3 and 4, guys will pass you low, they'll get that run. But most of the time you can pass them before 1 and 2, and then it's back and forth. But it's really tough to pass here. A lot of guys did great, especially after we did that single file restart. We got it back double file. It was a lot of great racing with a lot of good guys.
I know we had a little bit of chaos tonight, but I would have to agree. It actually really was a lot of good racing out there when we were green. But we look forward now to Michigan Speedway next week. We're going to roll out there with the same car, still in the Gen 6. A very similar racetrack, but also relatively different. What's the approach? How does it change? Does it really change going into Michigan next week?
Well, it's always my opinion, old Michigan's better than new. Especially for the trucks, turned it into almost a restrictor plate track. But with these cars, you go in there, you send it a lot like this one. Tires are going to matter late in the runs. A lot of guys, my tire strategy, this was just a chance. I took it at the end hoping it was going green. But, if the cards fell a little bit different and there was a caution, those guys would have went in and got their extra set, and I would have just been toast. So Michigan's very similar. It's going to be a lot of the same racing there, a lot of the same strategy. And as long as you can keep it in one piece and avoid that early kind of anxious bit where the packs are breaking up, you should be all right.
Strong win tonight, Dustin. Congratulations, man. Who do you want to thank before I let you go?
Wifey, first and foremost. She's always in there watching, and she's going to be excited. And she's in the boys causing trouble right now, so I know she's not watching. But, got the orangutan boys, Craig, Andy, Kevin, Bittner, and Jess and Laura, man. And I definitely appreciate you. I know you guys went through some changes, but glad you're here, glad you're broadcasting, and I can't wait to watch it, bud.
All right, Dustin. Congrats again, man. Good luck next week.
Appreciate it.
Dustin Eaton, your race winner here at Auto Club Speedway. We're going to talk to our runner-up, Chandler Paul, who, well, he gave it his all and then some, I think. Got that car into the wall a couple of times there trying to reel in Dustin Eaton. Just came up a little bit short, but let's get a word with him. Chandler, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Sure.
Chandler, congratulations, man. A strong run, started in the 9th spot, but closing laps of this thing as you tried to reel in Dustin Eaton. You got there a couple of times, but then a couple of mistakes, it seems. Did you just lose the nose of the race car off turn number 4? We did see you get into the fence a couple of times there as the laps wound down.
Yeah, technicality, I actually started from the pits. I actually did a no-no. I qualified when I shouldn't have. I had a penalty from last week, so I had to give up the 9th position. But no, I think I just kind of got lucky tonight with getting through a couple of the big major wrecks, and then being able to stick with Eaton, who's a pretty fast guy. Really, the tire strategy is what helped me there, and he was on the last set too. And if I just had a little more grip, I probably could have slide jobbed him in 1 and 2 and been able to run off with it. But all in all, this is probably the most fun I've had in a while on this. It was a blast. I'm so happy that I actually finished in the top 5 and didn't get taken out in a wreck, because it's been happening a lot recently.
Well, certainly fun to watch on our end for sure. But I want to ask too about you had the 123 John Gallagher there, the lap car mixed in. Was he actually a bit of a help to you once he got back there behind you? Was he trying to help you with draft at all, or was that making any difference for you whatsoever?
To be honest, I don't know. I would probably have to go back and look and see if he did, because I don't remember if he pushed me or not. But I know when he did get around me, I used the draft to help myself get back up to Eaton to try to get another run at him with 2 to go. So, yeah, I mean, he might have pushed me, he might have not. I don't know. If he did, thanks 123, appreciate it. If not, he still thanks to him for getting in front of me where I can get the draft off him. So he kind of helped in some way. But all in all, it still was a good and fun race.
Well, next week we go to the fraternal twin, so to speak, out at Michigan Speedway. Very similar racetrack to Auto Club. The difference is no lights there, so we're likely running that one during the heat of the day. What's the approach at Michigan next week?
Kind of the same approach that I had to this. Kind of just try to stay out of trouble. Hopefully run the high line, keep the tires saved up as much as I can, find some speed, and I don't know what it is. I'm typically better at this track than Michigan, and even though they're almost the same. So hopefully I can find something there next week and try to get a top 15 finish. That's my goal. So gotta kind of back up this from tonight and hopefully put on a good show for everybody.
All right, Chandler. Well, again, congratulations on that 2nd spot. Who do you want to shout out to before I let you get going?
Yeah, thank you. Big shout out to my team, Goodweiser, George, Anthony, and Everidge. George was actually helped me out a lot, trying to keep me calm, because I was starting to freak out, trying to messing up and watching him hit the wall. He was keeping me in control and checking all that. So huge shout out to him. Shout out to my brother Austin, even though he's on another team. Still my brother, got that brother love. Shout out to my parents. They helped me, they just let me do this stuff, and they seem like they're chill with it. So all that, always got to show appreciation to the parents and all that. And then big thanks to Jess and Lori for always putting this on, and then and thanks to all the fans, and thanks for you for putting on our broadcast, and hopefully everybody enjoyed the show and ready for next week.
All right, Chandler. Well, nice job, man. Good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
It's Chandler Paul, your runner-up here at Auto Club. Next and last, we're going to talk to the driver of the number 10 machine. That's going to be Andrew Cawthon. We'll pull Andrew in the booth here. Get a word with our 3rd place finisher, Andrew. It's Steve with Track Limits. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Steve. How's it going?
It's going good, sir. Congratulations. 15th to 3rd. Not a bad way, but I want to go back here and talk about that wreck off of turn number 2. You just barely missed Dustin Wade. Did you hammer on the brakes there, or were you able just to kind of maneuver around?
Yeah, I saw him start to go sideways, and I just hammered the brakes. I just put as much as I could into the brake. These cars are pretty tough, and you can fix them pretty good unless you either blow up the radiator in the motor or get some major suspension damage. So my goal was just to not hit anybody too hard with the front end and not get turned around and get plowed into in the side. So it worked out. I had a minute or so worth of repairs, been up the hood a little bit, and they got her fixed up and got me back out.
Got you back out for a solid top 3 finish. Always a positive thing when you can get to talk in the broadcast post-race. Next week, a very similar racetrack, though at Michigan. Obviously, different weather conditions as will be in the light of the day. But how do you feel about a runner-up or maybe better next week?
I'd like to see it. I'm pretty good at Michigan. honestly, anytime you get out here with these guys, it's anytime. I mean, you break top 10, you're doing pretty good. These guys that come out here and finish top 5 every week. These guys are just excellent drivers. So top 10, I'm happy with that, to be honest with you. Up there having fun, and then just finishing the race. That was the main thing with this race tonight, is just trying to be patient. There for the first few laps, it was real scary. Just trying to watch what everybody was doing and just stay out of trouble, stay out of the fence for a while, and then it finally thinned itself out. But that's the name of the game. And Michigan's, I feel like Michigan's a lot wider. You got some more banking there. But that's always a fun track. We run that track quite a bit too, so everybody should have a pretty good handle on it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's in the trucks though, so a little bit different animal. I like these cars myself.
Looking at the schedule, actually, we'll pull it up right now while I got you in here. It's showing the Gen 6 is next week at Michigan, so I think we're still in this car, so that's a positive note if you ask me, but either way.
Okay, yeah, I think we should maybe starting it back over and racing each track with a different, going back and forth. So I'm looking forward to it. Cars doing even better.
Either way, it's been fun to watch. Tonight was great, man. Andrew, we're going to let you get rolling here, but is there anyone you want to thank and shout out to before I get you out of here?
And all the guys here in the league, they make it a good time showing up every week. Obviously, Jess and Lori for putting in all the hard work they do. Obviously, you getting on here and broadcasting, making it fun to go back and watch. And that's about it, man. Got the rest of the guys on Phoenix Racing. And that's it, man. That's really all I got.
All right, Andrew. Well, thanks for talking to us. Congrats. A job well done here at Auto Club, and good luck next week at Michigan.
All right, same. Happy New Year, man.
You as well.
All right.
Andrew Cawthon, your third-place finisher here from Auto Club Speedway. That's going to wrap up the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's see if we can get the race results to populate this time. We've had some struggles with it since we switched everything. There it is. All right. Dustin Eaton, of course, your race winner. Chandler Paul, Andrew Cawthon. We talked to those guys. That was your top 3. Dylan Bryant finished in the 4th spot. Jonathan Osborne was 5th. Deion Jones finished in the 6th spot. Andrew Player, 7th. Russ Kilgore was 8th. Ricky Wittenberg was 9th. 10th went to John McAdam. 11th, Chris Klein. Josh Bittner was 12th. John Gallagher, 13th. 14th place finisher was Anthony Williams. Jeremiah Burke finished in the 15th spot. Dave Mayberry was 16th. 17th went to the 3 of Austin Paul. Albert Anderson, a tough night, finishes 18th. 19th, George Rincon. Timothy Pope, strong qualifying attempt. 20th place finish, unfortunately, for the 7. We'll likely see a better week with him next week at Michigan. 21st, Alan Vaught. He was strong early as well, caught up in a crash. Scott Roney, fast as well, caught up in another crash. Pretty much going to be the same story for everybody else from here on down the line. Trevor Robertson was 23rd. Mike Adamson, 24th. 25th, Kyle Vaught. 26th, Dustin Wade. Kelly Cool, 27th, cigarette and all. Greg Dobson was 28th. 29th, Joe Canellis. 30th, Greg Klein. Larry Dickerson was 31st. 32nd, Kevin Hunt. Derek Welch, old DW, finished 33rd. And Jack Dixon, I think he only got 1 lap in, maybe a few laps in here, but unfortunately for him, he's going to finish dead last, 34th here at Auto Club Speedway. That's your race results here from race number 6 from Auto Club Speedway. Race 7, of course, next week. Same time, same channel. Well, kind of the same channel. YouTube.com/@TrackLimitsNetwork. That is the new handle for the channel. All the previous HBR TV broadcasts will still be available in the storage form, I guess you could call it, on the channel. So if you want to go back and watch a previous race, it's all still there. We just changed the branding, folks. Nothing too serious, but just new thing, new year, new progress, new look. So it's going to wrap it up, though. Again, congratulations, Dustin Eaton, for winning here tonight at Auto Club. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.